We're in a very deep, mystical, Kabbalistic teachings that the Alter Rebbe taught a few days before his passing. And the divine attributes of God are the source, or are empowered by the Ein Sof, by God himself, and the power of creating something from nothing. And because of that something from nothing that it creates, that comes creation, not recognizing its source. But how about our soul? Or even the angels that emerge, souls of angels, they emerge from a union called Zivuk Nishikin, which means a union of kissing, a union of divine attributes, as that's how the birth of something comes. So there's spiritual birth, there's physical birth. Our souls, they emerge from the union of Zun of Atzilus, which means the male and female parts of the divine attributes. Zeir Ampin, which means small faces, refer to the 6 emotions, and Malchus, sovereignty, which is the feminine quality. So you have the male is the 6 emotions, and you have the feminine, which is Malchus, sovereignty, royalty. There's a union that happens of those attributes above, and the soul emerges from there. Now, this is the soul before it goes anywhere outside of the world of Atzilus. Remember, the world of Atzilus is, as the word means, Eitzel, next to, it's the emanation of God. It's not a creation of God. So the soul's there, as they emerge there, which that's the beginning of the emergence. It is divine. It's not a substantial yesh. It's not a something. It's divine. It's godliness. It's godliness, even though it's a great contraction, right? Just as the 10 spheres, divine attributes in Atzilus, are finite, but their divinity, right? Likewise, the soul that comes from a union of. Now, and that's before it descends into the world of Bria, Yetzirah, and Asiya. Coming down, it picks up stuff. And the soul begins there, and there it's divinity. And when it comes to the body, that's a different story. I'm not talking about that now. That's divinity. How is this done in the Hasidic geography? Well, this is the contraction of the Ein Sof, of the limitlessness of God, into what we call a kav. A kav is a line. It's metaphorically, the beginning of all limitation. And the kav then is vested in the nefesh, ruach, and neshama of the soul, and gives emergence to this soul. Now, there are such souls that they sort of live, they even come down into this world. Some of the original righteous, they came down into this world, and they were so refined, they were so beyond this world, that they passed away early before they even had an opportunity to do anything wrong. That's how pure their soul is. And that's where the idea, God takes the best ones. Where that idea comes from. Because the soul is a soul from Atzilus, that is divinity, and divinity cannot have anything tainted it cannot taint divinity. So if there was a potential of that soul, then that person would pass away. And this is from, the Alter Rebbe says, from many from from the early righteous people. Now, even though it's divinity, the soul does not have the power to create something from nothing. It emerges from the divine attributes of God, and being that it emerges from there, it's not of there, it emerges from there, from the union. It is divinity, but not divinity. It's not, doesn't have the God force in it that it can create something out of nothing. It doesn't have that power. As we probably see in ourselves, right? That we can't create something from nothing. But here explaining. Because to create something from nothing is to create something that's the very antithesis of what the ayin is. The nothingness meaning no thing, to create something. So we, even though we're a godly soul, again, not the way it's in the body, but in its source, in Atzilus, even though it's godly, but it's not capable of doing something that is completely contrary to its being. Only God has that capability. It's like the question, can God create a rock that he can't pick up? Kind of that question. It's a foolish question, but it's like that, doing something that's the antithesis of who you are. God is no thing, and he makes something that's got limitations, got parameters, goes beyond that. He vests that power in the divine attributes, so they are the vehicle of how God does it, but it's, in the end, not something that's in the soul that we have in Atzilus even. And with that, we're going to conclude today's class. Sorry, I must run. I'm Rabbi Ronnie Fine, coming to you for Chabad and Kadesh in Montreal, Canada. It's a privilege and a pleasure to share with you the Tanya. Have an amazing, great day. Thank you for joining.